Hi, it's Curtis Paxman from Brewfitt. I just want to give you a quick demonstration of the Lindr coolers that we sell for professional and domestic use. We've now got an exciting range of different machines on our website and bundles which actually include beer as well. So everybody can enjoy the joys of draft beer at home. So just taken delivery of the unit, and I'm going to unpack it and show everybody how easy it is to connect and put together. So here we go. As you can see, it's a very small package, ideal for my utility room. This is a drip tray and a tap, which we'll come to shortly. But the unit is extremely portable, great for all year round to take to friends' barbecues or have in your garden. It's all very portable and compact. So the beauty about the Lindr coolers, they're all equipped with a air compressor for the actual dispense, variable temperature. To allow for the different temperatures of different beers. So for craft beers, they maybe want to be a little bit warmer, but we'll show you how it goes together. What I would recommend you do is find a suitable top for the unit to sit on. We'll plug it in, but we won't actually switch it on yet. This is the tap port, this is the temperature variance, and the on switch for the refrigeration system. At the back we have the switch for the compressor, we have the air inlet to pressurize the keg, and we have the product line as well. So we'll start with putting the tap on. The tap comes in a nice box and comes with a specific spanner, which I'll show you for the purpose of that. And the actual tap itself comes with a handle, and the arm on the side is actually the compensator to increase or decrease the flow of beer through the unit. The colleted section here is a case of positioning the tap as centrally as you possibly can, and then screw the knurled section as tight as you can with your fingers. Check that the tap is central, and then the special tap spanner will go in these small holes and is used to tighten the tap body to stop any air in and to make sure it's secure. So there you have it, the tap. Make sure the handle's secure. We'll also put the drip tray in place for now, which is a nice square fabricated stainless steel tray, so very hygienic, easy to clean. So there you have the unit, nice and small. So when you also have the package, it will come with the keg coupler and the product feed, and also the air feed. Based on the fittings that come with it, it's very obvious where these should go in the back of the unit. And as far as the coupler's concerned, because I've ordered the beer bundle set, which comes with a KeyKeg, I've requested and ordered the KeyKeg coupler, and we'll talk a little bit more about the couplers and the various containers in a little while. So in order to insert the pipe work, we have, as previously mentioned, we have the air side, and just simply push the fitting in and you will feel it lock into place. These are quick release fittings, so if you ever need to remove the pipe from the unit, the collet is pushed in and then the pipe is removed. So if you don't, you can't just pull it out. It's a quick release mechanism, but the seals in place will make sure everything is sealed and locked. We'll also put the product tube in, which is exactly the same, and that just slots into place. So really, as far as the unit is concerned, it's now ready to go. The beauty about the Lindr cooler is that it actually only takes between 5 and 7 minutes to cool down. So we'll make sure that the power source is on the plug, and we'll switch the unit on, which you can hear the fan now running. Just to get the unit up to speed, I'm going to turn it halfway just to make sure it's switched on and it doesn't get too cold straight away. And what I will do is I will also switch the air compressor on, but at the moment this is just pressurizing the line, so you can hear it start. If you engage the coupler, the compressor would run again, but we don't want to do that in principle because that's in its open position. So we'll lock the coupler back off, and for the exciting bit of getting the beer, we have a 30-litre keg of Merc Life from Magic Rock, and this is a beautiful hazy pale ale, 5%. So a little bit more about the containers. KeyKeg 30 litre is probably quite a large container for home consumption. However, festive periods, parties, based on numbers, could be an ideal amount of beer in there. There is various options. So we have, other than KeyKeg, there is PortaPint, but then there is also your traditional steel keg. Some important factors to note is with steel kegs, they have a spear and the dispense mechanism is slightly different. So because we're working with compressed air on steel kegs, the beer really will only stay fully fresh for 3 or 4 days, and then it will start to lose its level of carbonation due to the fact that it's not CO2 sat on the unit. We do have additional equipment available where you can purchase CO2 equipment and regulators that will allow you to use gas, but for domestic use we really strongly recommend that you stick with the air compressor for safety. The interesting point is now you've heard the cooler switch off, so that must have been actually about 3, maybe 4 minutes. So it's actually ready to dispense from a cooling perspective. Back to the actual containers, KeyKeg and PortaPint are the most favoured types of containers for domestic use. The way that these containers work is that they have a bag inside, and the beer is within the bag and keeps it nice and fresh continually. So even if you bought a KeyKeg, for example, the beer would be fresh for at least a couple of months. So we recommend KeyKeg because they're disposable as well, and you haven't got the issue of having to return to the supplier or the brewer or the wholesaler. And based on the network of polykegs and KeyKegs, there is hundreds of brewers now packaging in these particular containers. So it's quite an exciting prospect of the choice of beers that you have, which is really a true USP and major benefit of the Lindr cooler, that provides you with all that choice of beer. And you could actually buy a number of beers and uncouple and change them depending on the season or the occasion. So let's demonstrate the connection. This has come with a nice little badge which will show the brand off on the cooler, which is something that you may want to do to let your buddies or family know what beer you're actually serving. So again, this is an ideal place for the unit because we can keep the keg stored under the counter in the utility room. The positioning and insertion of the KeyKeg coupler is very simple. You'll be able to find it slots into the lugs, a short turn, so then it won't actually pull off, and then we simply push the coupler down, and you will see that the pressure, which was already partly in the KeyKeg, has started to send the beer up the product line. So now's the time to switch the compressor on, and the compressor will enable the beer to push out of the bag up into the unit and through the very clever cooling mechanism in the Lindr cooler. This particular model, which I would recommend for domestic use, is a Pygmy 25. The numbers 25 represent the actual amount of litres that the cooler is capable of dispensing in 1 hour from an ambient of about an average of 17 to 18 degrees. So in theory, within 1 hour, this particular machine is capable of dispensing nearly the whole keg, depending on what temperature the keg was stored at. So the duty is absolutely perfect, and for a domestic use will ensure that you can have very cold fresh beer continually. The units go all the way up to a 300, which is very much for professional use and stadia, but we have in the range, we have a 20, 25, 30, a 40, a 70 and a 155. Now we've successfully connected the coupler to the KeyKeg, I'm just going to demonstrate how the actual KeyKeg works before we switch the compressor on. So what you have is the inbuilt air compressor is pushing air through the blue tube into the KeyKeg itself and is forming pressure around the outside of the bag. So it's squashing the bag and then pushing the beer out of the beer outlet round to the back of the cooler and through the nice cooling mechanism in the Lindr cooler. So let's switch the air compressor on and listen to the process. The air compressor shouldn't run for too long, but on first installation and first connection, this may run for a couple of minutes, maybe longer, to apply the correct pressure in the keg. What I would always recommend when pulling the first bit of beer off is using a container, a measuring jug or something, just to get rid of the first little bit, because it will foam a little bit. What you should be able to see is when the beer becomes a little bit clearer through the system, and now I've got some beer into the cooler. I'm going to switch the cooler onto full, because I like my beer cold. So we're pulling the beer through, and what we will also do is just to make sure that we have got not too fast flow to reduce the fobbing. We can change the compensator to make sure that the beer is coming out at a steady flow. Again, it's a little bit quick, so we'll slow it down again, and as you can see there, it's a little bit too slow, so it's only a slight little change of the tap that will give you the right speed. So the beer has now started to flow clear. However, this particular brand, hence the name Merc Life, is a cloudier IPA, so it won't come out like a standard lager, like maybe Carling or Stella or something like that. So now we've pulled a little bit off. What we should be ready to do is pour our first proper drink. I'll just get a glass. Now we have a beautiful cold glass of beer, ready to drink, and as simple as that.